I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, like, again, I think she's a hell of a player and, like, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. Like, you literally couldn't touch her. Couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. Like, and if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards.
The cameras captured the frustration in Sophie Cunningham's face before she even left the court, and fans watching from home could feel the storm brewing. This wasn't just another WNBA matchup. This was a night where tempers flared, accusations flew, and the integrity of the game itself was dragged into the spotlight. The Indiana Fever had just suffered a crushing defeat to the Dallas Wings, but the scoreboard didn't tell the full story. What fans, players, and commentators were talking about wasn't the athleticism on display, it was the refereeing. And for Sophie Cunningham, a player known for her fiery competitiveness and unwillingness to hold back her opinions, this was too much to swallow quietly. What unfolded in that game has become one of the most controversial.
Like, I just hate the inconsistency.
Like when whistles are player focused, that's like, I mean, I think that's a huge problem.
But she's gonna be one of those players that, like, she's already gonna be a GOAT. Like, she's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that she's freaking hell of a player, but like getting some of those whistles already, oh my, I couldn't.
Special nights in recent WNBA memory, not just because of who won or lost, but because of the growing sense that the referees were not simply making mistakes, but actively influencing the outcome. Sophie's fury was not a reaction. It was the culmination of months of questionable officiating that many fans argue has tilted the balance of fairness in a league already fighting for respect. But this game, it crossed a line. And the fallout has sparked a conversation that reaches far beyond just one team or one player. To understand why
Cunningham posted the video 6 days ago, which shows her lip-syncing lyrics from Sabrina Carpenter's song Man-Child. The caption to the video is, "At some refs."
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Yesterday, Cunningham reposted the video on X with a caption about the fine.
Why Sophie's anger resonates so deeply, we need to revisit the matchup itself. The Fever, a team built on grit and youthful energy, came into the game determined to prove themselves against the Wings, a squad stacked with athleticism and shooters who can light it up from deep. Early on, Indiana's game plan was clicking. They were moving the ball crisply. Caitlin Clark was orchestrating the offense with her trademark vision, and the Fever defense was holding Dallas in check. But as the game wore on, the whistles began to pile up, and now
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 and a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul. Outward for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
Fouls that seemed were called against the Fever, stopping their momentum cold. Drives to the basket by Indiana players ended with contact, but no calls. Meanwhile, on the other end, Dallas was gifted trips to the free throw line on plays where even replays struggled to show meaningful contact. By halftime, the foul disparity had tilted so dramatically that commentators on national broadcasts couldn't ignore it. The crowd, too, grew restless, booing loudly at what felt like officiating. And here's the thing, basketball fans are used to bad calls. It's part of the game. Referees are human, and sometimes they miss things. But this wasn't one or two missed calls. This was a pattern, a rhythm of whistles that always seemed to benefit one side. It was as if the referees were wearing Wings jerseys and in their uniforms. For Sophie Cunningham, who has built her career on playing defense and batting through contact, it was infuriating.
You could overturn it to an offensive foul. You could also maintain that it's a foul but take away the continuation. All of those things could happen here on this call.
The interesting thing is, when you get to this point of the play, it is a foul on Boston. But it's because her arm was clamped earlier in the play.
I mean, look at that.
Like, what can she do there?
She literally can do nothing. I don't know how that's not overturned to an offensive foul.
I agree with you.
That looks about as clear as it gets. And you saw how quickly Stephanie White challenged that.
How can you play your game if every move you make is whistled down while your opponents are given a free pass? The fourth quarter was where the controversy reached its peak. With the Fever fighting to stay within striking distance, every possession mattered. Caitlin Clark drilled a deep three, cutting the deficit to just a single possession, and the energy in the arena shifted. The
We have no illegal conduct by Euro, so the call will stand as confirmed. This will be also. Indiana will lose their challenge as well as their timeout. One shot for Euro. Thank you.
That's stunning to me. I mean, Aaliyah Boston, look at her. Lee puts her one hand down and then pins Boston down with her other arm.
I gotta say, Rebecca, I'm sure we'll get an explanation from Sue Blau at some point soon.
Fever's defense tightened, forcing a turnover, and it seemed like momentum was finally swinging back their way. That's when the whistles came again. A questionable blocking foul on Aaliyah Boston erased what could have been a fast break. Moments later, Smith was called for a shooting foul where replays showed she barely brushed her opponent's arm. And then, in perhaps the most glaring sequence of the night, Clark was hammered on a drive to the rim, no call. Seconds later, Eric drew free throws on minimal contact at the other end. The cameras caught to Cunningham, and you could see it. The disbelief. The outrage. The sense that no matter how hard the Fever fought, the deck was stacked against them. After the final buzzer, she didn't hold back. "This is ridiculous," she fumed. "We worked too hard to have games stolen from us like this. Fans deserve better. Players deserve better. The league deserves better." Her words spread like wildfire across social media. Clips of the missed calls went viral with
Paige Beckers putting her hands on Sophie to shove her up. You see Sophie's hand in the air. Both hands are in the air right here. And Paige Beckers is shoving. She is shoving her clean off. Boom. Pushed her right into Howard. Pushed her into Howard. Now she's wide open and waiting for a pass like she just didn't do anything. Like she just didn't do anything. Wide open down here. Look at her. And then all of a sudden you get the whistle. And look at the ref. You see the ref? You see the ref right here. Calling the foul. And guess who the foul was on? Sophie Cunningham.
In minutes. Like and began trending. Fans who had been on the fence about whether the officiating was just sloppy or something more sinister suddenly had fuel for their suspicions. And as the debate grew, so did the spotlight on the league itself. Why does this matter so much? Because the WNBA is in the middle of its most season ever. With the arrival of stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others, ratings have surged, arenas are filling, and the league has a rare opportunity to capture mainstream attention.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you, like, bugged out?
All of them.
Most, everything?
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're going to be finding this shit out of me,
yeah,
cool. But let me do it to you.
Let you, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want
like
consistency then.
Yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do shit.
But with that growth comes scrutiny. Every game is under the microscope, and every controversy becomes magnified. If fans begin to believe that outcomes are being manipulated, or even just that referees are incompetent, it threatens the very foundation of trust in the product. And let's be real, sports thrive on the belief that anything can happen, that the underdog has a chance, that hard work and talent will decide the outcome. Take that away, and what's left? If fans walk into an arena believing the refs will determine the winner, why bother cheering? That's why Sophie's fury struck such a chord.
There's like a good handful that it's like, all right, dude. And there's a couple girls in
Dumb
it too.
question. If someone were to say someone called men's basketball their whole life
and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently, just given like the style and like physicality and stuff like that?